Hi everyone, this is Data Meeting 4 from Group 4, Joseph Young and Abigail Smith. So for our fourth group meeting that we had, our agenda was to overview the data action model up until this point. We went over our target learning goals, and then we were able to determine our action plan that we will be using in this hypothetical situation. So on the data action model, we are currently on data meeting 4, which is planning action. So as this is our fourth data meeting, the session focused on planning the actions that will be taken to meet the goals that we set last week during meeting number 3, or 2 weeks ago. So to reiterate our SMART learning goals that our group has set for our group of students, our goal is that the students will increase class average by 25% across all formative assessment testing by the end of the school year. So for objective 1, we want to bring that 6.024 to a 7.53. Objective number 2, it's going to be a 5.456 to 6.93. And then number 3 is going to go from a 4.912 to 6.14 if all goes as planned. So moving into our action plan, our exploratory question is how can we engage students in the academic process to increase test scores? And obviously this means engage them to the fullest extent because based on the data, there's clearly some engagement issues or inattention issues happening. So our goal again is that the class average will increase by 25% across all formative assessment testing by the end of the school year. So we focused on 3 groups of students, 1 large group, 2 subgroups for our presentation, or for our action plan. And first we focused on the IEP students, and our instructional tactic with that group of kids is that they will complete all homework assignments. We just want them completed. The tactic method is that time will be given in class to start all homework. So in those last few minutes of class, the teacher will allow 5 to 10 minutes to allow students to work on whatever assignments are going to be due. And this way, students will have time to ask questions while the teacher is in the room with them. It might also encourage them to keep going at home. They might find that it's interesting or that they're really good at it or that they enjoy working through something. So that's going to be our tactic method. Our benchmark expectation is that we will have at least 80% homework completion. This task will be done daily or as often as homework is being given in the class, and we were thinking about giving it about 4 weeks to see improvement. For the verifying artifacts, we were going to use participation as our evidence and homework completion to see if we've achieved that goal. Our next group of students we talked about are our ELL students, or English language learners, and our instructional tactic there is that they will receive consistent grades across formative and summative assessments. So we're not looking at these specific grades that they're getting, we're just looking at they're continuing to be consistent as they score. So we were thinking about using a tactic method of introducing different study tools to students, such as Quizlet, that will be introduced in class and will be reviewed often to make sure that students not only remember the information, but have ideas on how to apply it going forward and learn more studying techniques that they can use outside of class when maybe they need to do some work at home. Our benchmark expectation is that there will be no more than a 10-point difference between their test scores. So if they get a 100 on the first one, we're looking for at least a 90 on the second one. This task will be done weekly. Our estimated completion date is 4 weeks, and our verifying artifacts will be assessment scores throughout the year. And then our last group of students, we're looking at all students together because our goal really focused on every student, which was improving their assessment scores. So our tactic method for that, we thought it was a good idea to play a lot of review games in class. Some examples were Kahoot, Gimkit, Quizzes, Blookit, many other websites that we plan on using to practice the information. Students are very engaged in these games, and there are many settings you can have them play individually against each other. You can put them into groups. You can even do random groups. You can assign them yourself. Many ways that you can arrange the students to play these games against each other. It creates a fun, competitive environment in the classroom. Our benchmark expectation is that formative assessment scores will increase by 25%. Our frequency, we're thinking once to twice a week. We'll see these results by the end of the year. And the verifying artifacts will be participation, exit tickets, and check-ins. One other thing we wanted to note was that with these games, they count as formative assessments. They offer you the option to go back and review the data from the game. For example, if you play Kahoot, you can go back even days later and see which questions were answered wrong by the most people, which questions people really nailed, if kids are skipping questions, so you can check for participation and things like that. And so basically our action plan ends with these 3 tactics, knowing that as time goes on, there's always the chance we may need to adjust and reframe some of those goals that we have, and hopefully it has a positive impact on the new data we receive.